Welcome back to the Full Court Press. Eric France and Ajay Salveson here, and we've spoken to Brock Miller before. We've had him on the phone, but he's generous enough to spend some time with us here in the studio. He's made some news earlier this week announcing his retirement from basketball. He had an extra year of eligibility, but calling it a day for Utah State. But Brock, thanks for coming down. Thanks for spending some time with us today.
Yeah, thanks for having me.
First of all, just what I know that it can't be an easy announcement to make, right? I mean, you've been at Utah State for a long time, but to finally say you're done with basketball, what was that process like, and how hard was that for you?
Yeah, it was a tough process, obviously, but my current situation with my health, it wasn't as hard as I thought that it was going to be physically. I've taken a beating on my body the last year and a half or so, and throughout the course of my career, I've battled injuries and stuff. So physically, it was a pretty easy decision, but mentally and emotionally, it is kind of tough to let go because I've been playing basketball for 20 years about. I'm 25 years old, and it's been a big part of my life. So obviously, a new change. It's a new adjustment, new way of life. It's definitely tough, but the process getting here has been just a lot of chats and talks with doctors, coaches, and Bailey and my family, and it's just as wise for me to stop physically so that I can keep doing things that I need to do as a normal person and not mess it up. So physically easy, emotionally and mentally it's pretty tough, but also kind of excited and looking forward to what's next.
And it started last year, if I'm not mistaken, didn't it?
Yeah, it did. So last year we had there was a COVID outbreak where Wyoming, those guys had COVID and we couldn't play them. So we had a week stretch of practice, and by the tail end of that practice, right up until we went to Boise State to play them twice, my back gave out that practice the day we left. And so, I couldn't walk, and it was a situation where I haven't felt that much pain in a long time in my back. I wasn't even able to put my socks and shoes on. The trainer had to do that for me for practices and shoot-arounds. And, I didn't even shoot around going into the game or practice, and I didn't practice the rest of the year. I would just show up and play, 30 minutes twice a week for the rest of the year. And with the back injury, so
holy smokes! Wait, time out. You weren't practicing, but you'd come in and still play 30 or so minutes of. Are you serious?
Yeah. So I didn't. We kept it kind of confidential and not disclose any of that to the conference because we didn't want people knowing how bad my back was.
Yeah.
But yeah, I didn't practice, and I would just do rehab throughout the whole time of practice, and had to wake up early. I'd have to do treatment before and after, and then I would just get a good warm up in before a game and play 30 minutes.
Play in a game.
Yep.
I had no idea.
So
Brock.
you go through a week just receiving treatment and not practicing.
Yep.
You'd play a game. What was it like immediately after a game? How were you even functioning after a game? Yeah,
it was hard to get out of bed the next morning. Hard to move. It was a tough situation, and I just figured whether I played good or bad, I stretched the floor. And during that time with Nemi and stuff, he needed help with someone to space the floor. So my goal, even if percentages or points or whatever dropped, the most important thing was helping the team win, and my value was just to stretch the floor. So I would just go in and just try to do that, and that's all I could do the rest of that season last year. But I personally, looking back at it, I probably shouldn't have played, but I did anyways, and I'm glad we did. We made it to March Madness last year. So, going into that, and with my back injury, going to this off season, and my off season, didn't start. I didn't start workouts or doing live stuff until middle of September. So I took the whole summer off and didn't do anything. I didn't really get to have an off season. And Coach Odom came in and, he told me, he's really excited and wanted to keep me around and was willing to work with me. So got to a point where I got up to about, 65%, 65% to the beginning of the year, this year. And so, I was able to make it through, I don't even know how many games I was able to get in. I think half the year. this year. So,
did you feel like that percentage of health went down as you were playing game by game?
Yeah, and I was able to maintain it, decent throughout the course of the season. But I mean, even that Oklahoma game at Myrtle Beach, I got taken out and I had to do rehab outside during the middle of the game because I had pain going through my back, and then I was able to come in luckily and finish the game. But I've been dealing with that, and I mean that's why I sat out the Portland State game before Christmas, came back, and I had no business playing at Air Force physically. That was a bad situation, and so I told coach, I was like, I can't function right now, and so that's why I took that 6-7 week break in the middle of the season before I came back and just tried to go for it again.
How did you feel going into the tournament?
Which tournament?
Sorry, Mountain West Conference tournament.
Yeah, not good. I wasn't good physically. And I mean, just haven't been. And it just was at a point to where, talking to the doctors too, I mean, they mentioned it was a very, very low risk of making my back worse. It was just of managing the pain level. So it was just excruciating pain, things I went through. But at the end of the day, as far as leadership opportunity and things I could do off the court, I just took advantage of that opportunity to try to help the guys as much as I could, with communication, leadership, and sharing experience, and kind of just being there for them as much as I can. But, props to Coach Odom and his staff. They were really good to me, and were able to kind of give me that opportunity to just be a part of it.
Bro, Eric, can I just ask, with that, now knowing what you went through, because I had no clue, and I don't know if you did, Eric, either, but knowing that now, and with you guys don't, you hear everything, social media, whatever the people fans are saying about you. Did that bother you at all? Like, you're like, guys, I'm playing on a broken back. Like, I'm pretty much broken half right now. Did that bother you?
I mean, no. Fans have the right to be upset if they want to be. I mean, Utah State, we have a winning culture, and fans love winning, and I love winning too. So I don't blame them. I've been criticized my whole career, but I've also had a lot of support as well. So it's almost like you either hate me or you love me, that type of thing. And so, but the main thing is, at the end of the day, what I'm happy about, and like you said, does it bother me? No. And why is because I've been part of teams that have won. We've had 2 conference championships, 1 regular season championship, multiple different tournament championships. We've had great runs, 3 March Madness appearances if it weren't for COVID that one year, which I thought we would have won a few games and made a run. And then obviously even making it to the NIT this year, with a new coach, new team, with a huge turnover. I mean, that's what I'm most proud of, is winning and just being part of that. And that's what matters to me the most. And all the criticism and stuff, I mean, it is what it is, and I would rather have criticism or critics than not to have anything of people who don't care about the university. So
great answer.
Great attitude. Again, we're talking to Brock Miller, Aggie basketball player who's had a great career at USU. And when you took to social media to say thank you and make your announcement, one part of it really stuck out to me, and it was in this middle section. You thank Coach Morrill, Coach Jones for helping you become an Aggie. Then you thank Coach Duryea, Coach Smith, and Coach Odom for helping you become the player and person that you've become. That's a lot of different head coaches.
It is.
That are involved. And
yes.
that just illustrates this kind of transition of period that we've seen at Utah State for a little bit of time here. And you've been in the thick of all of that. And
yes, I have.
But through all that, though, there's still, as you said earlier, there's still a standard of winning and success here at Utah State.
Right. And, I mean, looking back at it, obviously, so Chris Jones, Ryland's dad, was an assistant here, and he's the one that got me here with Stu Morrow. I committed to Stu. Stu leaves while I'm on my mission. Come back, Duryea's my coach for 1 year. Duryea leaves, then Smith comes in. So then my career kind of began there. But, I mean, I just think about when I first got here, and even talking with Sam and Abel and these guys and Diogo, I mean, we weren't filling up the spectrum at all that first season that I was back. I was back to 18 or 17, 18, I think, or 18, 19. I've been here forever, but
it's all blur.
Yeah, it's all blur now. But I mean, we were hardly filling up the student section and people, and I mean, we just haven't been winning. at the time. And, one of our biggest goals was, how in the world are we going to bring the Spectrum Magic back? Like, that's the biggest thing. And it was easy answer is winning. So how are we going to win? And we were able to turn it around. And, it was fun to be a part of that with the guys and to be on such great teams with such great coaches. The cool part about playing for different coaches is you learn so many different cool qualities about each one of them. But also it is kind of tough having a new transition because you also have trainers, strength coaches, all the assistants, everything is just totally new. So the adjustment is, I've been in the thick and thin of it all. But luckily, I've had opportunities to kind of help turn this thing around, and hopefully we can maintain it. I'm confident Coach Odom's going to be able to do that.
You've always been such a class guy, but I want you to be honest with me here. When you're on your mission and Stu Morrill steps down, Tim Durye's named the head coach, was there any thought in your head of maybe I should transfer, go somewhere else? Because I committed to Stu, as you said. Mm-hmm. But then Tim Durye's the head coach. Was there any thought to go somewhere else? What was your thought process in that regard?
I knew Coach Duryea, even before my mission. And when Stu Morrill first stepped down and I wasn't sure who the coach was, I was still on my mission and I didn't want to worry too much about it. Quite honestly, I didn't really put too much thought in it. But, my dad and I were talking and, we're thinking about maybe when I come back, kind of just keep my recruiting open. But just to wait and see who the new coach was going to be. And then when I heard it was Coach Duryea, I was just like, all right, I'm gonna stay. I'll stay and play it out. I mean, him and Coach Spencer Nelson, they, were Skyped. I think it was Skype, not Zoom. I want to say Zoom, Skype, but it's not Zoom anymore.
Zoom wasn't really good.
Yeah, it was Skype. So they Skyped me in Argentina, and we had a good talk and said, we want to keep you. We really want you bad. And I knew Sam was obviously gonna stay, and Abel and those guys. So I was just like, what? Why not? Why not stay and try it out? And see how it goes. So I did, and I'm glad that I chose to stay in Aggie.
Brock, I got to ask you about social media.
Yeah.
Be Smooth.
Yeah.
How did you come up with your Twitter handle?
That's hilarious. That happened back in middle school. I haven't changed it since. I've had so many nicknames with my alopecia that I have. Be Smooth, Bald Eagle, obviously now Mr. Clean.
That's a good one.
Which is a great one.
Still to this day.
So many, and I just loved Be Smooth, so I just haven't changed it since middle school.
So your Aggie career is now officially done. You had this opportunity for an extra year because of COVID, which is weird. How many years sometimes
should have gotten
get
my
to
doctorate.
Play. Yeah, that's right. So extra time on campus. But so what's next? Basketball is now done, but what's next for you and your family and turning to life after basketball? Well,
got to find a job, start making money. So, first things first, we're going to stick around in the Valley for at least another year. We love Logan, Bailey and I, and our family. We love being here. We love the people. So, and we have opportunities here. So I'll go ahead and I'll work for EP Wealth with Brady Jardine here in the next month or so, and then I'll also be doing a side business, a golf simulator called Links Indoor Golf. We're launching first week of June this summer, actually, and we'll have 4 golf simulator bays just right on Main Street across from the Harley-Davidson store. So I'll be doing those 2 businesses and working that way and kind of just being around here and still doing stuff for people with alopecia as much as I possibly can. That's a big deal to me. And then we'll just be living here in the Valley and come to some games next year and just enjoy life moving forward that way. And obviously, is getting as healthy as I can now without pounding my back into the ground and on the hardwood. So I'll be doing a lot of rehab and just kind of getting to where I can golf and do the things that I love doing with my family and try to stay out of pain that way.
I want to go down memory lane with you, but before we do, golf simulator, like indoor golf, like outdoor golf, or how is this?
Yeah, so the name of it's Links Indoor Golf. So it's an indoor golf facility to where people can come in and get a membership or pay hourly, and they can come in and And golf, anytime they want to, there'll be a passcode with the membership. They can come in and golf, whether it's 2 a.m. or 3 p.m. It'll be a fun deal. I figured, in Logan, during the winter, there can be a lot of times where there's not much to do. And so I know that there's a lot of people that love golfing and also love just hanging out and being social. So we'll have a lot of TVs, soda machine, and different things there too, where families and people can come and have a good time during the winter time when it's cold. So it'll be a fun business and a fun opportunity as well for people that haven't golfed. I mean, I think about our golf team as well. They have a hard time with weather, and also high school golf teams here in the Valley have a tough time with weather because it gets so cold in Logan. So it's also providing opportunities for golfers to have an indoor facility outside of weather to be able to come in and work on their game as well. So, but it can also be kind of a top golf of Logan in a way too, because there's a lot of fun games that families can just come and play, and they don't have to actually play 18 holes of golf on the simulator. So, yeah, it'll just be a fun family and professional business.
That's pretty awesome. When that thing opens up, I'm there. That's all. I suck at golf.
Right after Memorial Day.
I suck at golf really badly, but I'll be good by the end.
Hey, we're hiring pros, people to come in and teach lessons. So
are you really?
Yeah, you guys can come in and get some lessons and work on your game and get good.
So quit looking at me like you're all good.
Eric and Ajay will be coming in. So
stop it.
First week of June we launch.
That's
a lot of work.
That's
on
great.
Yeah.
Congratulations on that. That's
thank
awesome,
you.
Brock. We're happy for you.
Yeah, we're excited.
Can we go down memory lane really quickly with
yeah,
you
let's
for
do
a little bit?
Yeah.
You had, like Eric said, an incredible career, really memorable. I hate to skip that Tim Duryea year, but I'm going to so we can get to the good stuff. But your first Mountain West Conference championship, you guys get through New Mexico. I shouldn't say run through, get through New Mexico.
Yeah.
Get to the championship, face San Diego State, which who would have thought? First of 3 matchups in the same game in the Mountain West title. How cool is it to win your first Mountain West Conference championship with Sam and all your good friends? And what was that opportunity like?
It was so cool. Well, we were predicted to take 9th in conference
that's right.
that year.
Yeah.
No one thought we even had a chance. Like, not even close. I mean, the only people that believed that we were going to win was the coaches and us players. That was it.
I would agree.
That was it. No one believed in, and rightfully so. I mean, we just have been finishing bottom of the Mountain West for the last however many years. And, obviously the transition to the Mountain West was tough on Utah State, going from the WAC to the Mountain West. So we've had issues there. So, I mean, with Smith coming in and us knowing and our desires of wanting to win, it was really sweet what we were able to accomplish. I mean, it was just incredible. I mean, even thinking about just going up until that conference tournament, we beat number 12 in the country, Nevada, at home.
That's right.
On senior night.
That's right.
That's when Bean was crowd surfing and doing his thing. We're number 12. I mean, young Bean and, Quinn Taylor's senior year. And, I mean, we go and we split. So we actually won the regular season as well, which was cool, too. I mean, no one gave us the trophy. No one thought we were going to win. Nevada got the trophy and all that stuff, which was kind of a bust. But we cut down nets at the Spectrum, and it was still that thing of we haven't earned the respect yet. So we went in with an edge still in that conference tournament, and we were able to come up with some huge wins. I mean, that New Mexico game came down to the wire. Sam had like 4 fouls with
9 minutes left.
Like 9 minutes left in the game.
Yes.
Honestly, those I'd never blame refs, but I mean those are some crappy calls, and I mean he 9 minutes left, 4 fouls, and still come away, and he took over, and Sam doing Sam things. But I mean, it was incredible. And then we totally thought that we were going to play Nevada again, most likely, because I mean, being number 12 in the country, you'd think that them being on the other side of the bracket, they would make it to the championship. But San Diego State was good, and they took it to them, and we matched up with them, and we were able to come away with the victory there, which was an incredible feeling. It was kind of one of those feelings like, man, we haven't won for a long time. We've been wanting to turn it around. We've been through this. We've only believed in ourselves. So it was extra sweet when we got to that, and we proved a lot of people wrong.
Do you remember after the Nevada game, the fire extinguisher incident? Were you guys inside the locker room, or where were you when that all happened?
Well, Bean was crowd surfing, so he doesn't know anything that happened. So you can talk to him about that. No, so I mean, we go up to the locker room, and it happened before he punched the fire extinguisher Jordan did before I got up to the locker room. But when I went up there, there were multiple guys close, kind of where the fire extinguisher was to the door of the locker room. That's how far distant I was from all them. So I just got in the locker room, and Abel came in and made sure everyone and crew, making sure everyone hey, stay inside, stay in the locker room, they want to fight, and go at it. So it was kind of a crazy deal. Our strength coach went out there and kind of calm things down a little bit, but I don't know what happened, if someone actually said something or whatever. I don't know what the reason was, but yeah, that was a crazy incident. And Bean comes up and he's like, "Oh, what happened?" So it was pretty funny. But yeah, that was a crazy deal. That was a crazy game, but man, what a fun game to win.
Do you have other games that, or maybe not necessarily games, but moments in games that really stand out to you when you reflect back on your career at Utah State?
I just think about Oklahoma this season. That was really cool. I thought, again, it's the same situation. We had Nimi leave, Marco Raleigh left, Alfonso left, other guys left, Coach Smith left, come in, new coach. I think it was me, Steven, Justin, and Trevin, and a couple other guys that were kind of returning to the same team that went to March Madness the previous year. We go in pretty early in the season. We go to double overtime with Princeton, and then we beat New Mexico State pretty well, who won a game in March Madness.
Yeah.
And then we also beat Richmond the previous, who also won a game in March Madness. And then we go and we beat a good Oklahoma team for a title there at Myrtle Beach, and that was an awesome experience. Another one was Jamaica, Sam's senior year, and we beat Florida and LSU, which was a really cool. No, I don't think we didn't beat. It was the Orange Bowl Classic was Florida, LSU, and I forget the team before.
Wasn't South Florida, was it? Because you guys went from.
Oh, it was South Florida.
It was South Florida.
So South Florida, and then we played LSU and beat LSU.
Is that when you went from the Toyota Center to Florida to go play 2 straight games? Was that trip, that long trip? You guys played in Houston, and then when you went to Florida and played in the Orange Bowl Classic,
that was against Florida, but I'm not talking about that.
Okay.
I'm talking about when we went to Jamaica.
Yeah.
And that was after we went.
Okay.
To that long stretch.
Gotcha.
So we went to the long stretch and we came back. I think we had 1 or 2 home games, then we flew out to Jamaica. So that was a cool experience.
Was that the Diogo Brito post game, riding the little dinosaur or whatever?
That was in the conference. That was in the conference tournament. I think Diogo's
Let's freaking go.
Senior year. Was that his senior year?
Yeah, that might have been senior year. I think I want to say it was in Jamaica. There was some dinosaur.
Oh yeah, it was Jamaica. That was against
the dinosaur. He was the vocal point of the. I remember your SID called him. Does anybody know what happened here?
Well, I'll tell you what happened is Diogo had a monster dunk against LSU. I don't know if any of you guys remember that. And he played really well that game. And we made a huge – I think we're down 20 at halftime. Came back and won. So, Diogo did that. Fans, people can be like, why did he do that? But my man had a nasty dunk, and we came back from 20, so he can do what he wants. So that was a fun memory. And then again, that second, Mountain West Championship, Sam hitting that shot, that whole tournament – I mean, what did he average? 30 probably? 27 something. And, winning that cut down nets twice in a row was pretty awesome. And then, obviously one game that I really loved was, I didn't really love, but for me personally, I had a lot of fun playing against Washington. My freshman year, I felt like I had a pretty decent game. Overall as a team, we didn't play that well. But it was so fun to have North Carolina fans cheering
rooting
for us
you guys, yeah.
And having a huge atmosphere of March Madness before COVID. I mean, win or lose that game, it wasn't a great game as a team collectively, but I had so much fun on that trip. That was a cool taste of what it was, and it kind of set the standard to me and to the rest of the guys is we don't want anything less than that every year. We want to win. We want to be in the tournament. I mean, we don't want to go to the NIT. We want to be in the tournament. And so, that memory of getting there and winning that first championship set the standard for the next few years of, it changed the whole dynamic of it. Obviously, we worked worked toward it, and then we got there, and it's like, all right, how are we going to stay here? So I think that was a pivotal moment.
Eric brought up a great point one time. He said one of the most saddest years in USU men's basketball history is the tournament that you didn't get to go to in 2020.
Oh, man.
When you guys had won the tournament that second year, you were loaded, you were deep, you were confident, and then the tournament gets canceled. What was that moment like when you guys found out you guys wouldn't be playing in the NCAA tournament?
That was a tough moment. I mean, I remember we were on our way to practice and, thinking there's still a chance that, because Coach Smith was like, hey, it's like, if there's no fans, would you guys still be down and play? And we're like, yeah, duh, obviously we'll play without fans. It's not the same, but we'll still play. It's March Madness, so... we're going thinking that there's still hope and a chance, and then we get a text right before we get to the locker room, says season's over, meeting on the floor. So I changed out of my practice gear. We went down and we had a meeting, and a lot of tears and a lot of disappointment. And for me, I was just like, I still have a couple of years left. I felt extremely bad for, Sam, Diogo, and Abel. Especially... the way Sam was playing too, and Nemi and those guys and everyone. I mean, we for sure were going to make a run. I had no doubt in my mind we were going to make a run, and it's easy to say that because we didn't play, but I truly believe that. And we had a great team that year, and so it was unfortunate, but it is what it is. And so, I just thinking about Sam, Abel, and Diogo and those guys. I mean, I thought it was a lot tougher on them, even though it was tough on us.
Again, we're talking to Brock Miller, great basketball player at Utah State who's been an Aggie for a long time. And outside of basketball, we spoke to you, it was earlier this season, if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah, we did talk about
kind of a passion project that you have, and you alluded to it as well, about helping kids with alopecia, and particularly youth, and giving them opportunities and making sure they know, like, hey, you can still do a lot of cool stuff, and it's shouldn't define you, and to talk about how that's progressing and what you're involved with there.
Yeah, I've felt not too long ago, about two years ago, probably 1.5 to 2 years. I was thinking about my experiences as a youth growing up and with alopecia and the different situations and things I went through, and how social media has evolved and how it can be a nasty world out there too for kids that are quote unquote different from the general, people in everyday life. And, alopecia is one of those things that people aren't really aware of either. For example, my wife had no clue what alopecia was until she met me. And, a lot of people will assume that, I have some sort of cancer or some sort of different, illness. That's not alopecia. I mean, it's just one of those things that people don't know much about, and and people have watched me on TV and with these games and stuff that have reached out to me through Facebook that have said, hey, like, thanks for what you do. My kid has alopecia. He's having a hard time. Could we talk to you sometime? And so I had a few kids come up to some games and spend time with me. Had pregame meal with me. One of them was a male, so he was able to come in the locker room and stuff and meet the guys, and he was down there for warm-ups. And, that started to kind of hit me that I had an opportunity to help kids out. And so from that time and those experiences, I decided to get on social media and start a page called Alopecia Family, and to try to connect and build a family unit to where people can find help. I went to lunch with a kid about a year ago, and he'd been going through a hard time and hadn't met anybody with alopecia like he does. And to me, that blows my mind with the internet and with the access that we have today. Is I wondered how in the world did he not find somebody to connect with. So that was my whole idea, is how can I be that bridge for kids and people, even older people that have it, and so whether I can affect one person or thousands, whatever it is, or hundreds, it doesn't matter as long as I just can help in any way. So that's what I've created the page. We've got close to, I think, 300 followers about in a year, which has been fun, and I've had a lot of cool articles on it, and a lot of people have reached out, and I've put out some merch merchandise that has like an alopecia logo on it that people can buy. And what I'll do with the money that I make is I'm going to do an event this summer. So I'll invite a lot of people with alopecia to come and just have fun, a get together, get to know each other type of thing this summer. So I'm also doing that. Just a lot of fun things, but I've been able to connect with so many people, and it's made me realize that that's what life's all about, is giving, and giving back and helping and using your talents for good. And so that was my goal with basketball. That's my approach to it, is be the best that I can be, help Utah State win, help my team win, and help other people. So that's the approach I took.
Very cool. And alopecia in the news this past week with the whole Will Smith, Jada Smith thing.
Yeah, I talked to Dave with KSL about it too the other day. Crazy deal.
Well, Brock, before we let you go, for Set You Free, give you a chance to thank anybody you want to thank right now here and send a message to them, and then we'll call good.
Sounds good. Yeah, I just want to first thank my wife, Bailey, for her support in my new little baby boy, and grateful he was able to come to the last game against Oregon and see Dad hit a shot. So
that's
kind of
cool, actually.
Pretty cool.
Very cool.
Thankful for her. I mean, she just thinking about the hours that I would spend with my back every day. I mean, I was 8-9 hours a day, probably, between practice, rehab. And she was so supportive and willing to help me while being pregnant and going through the stuff that she was going through, and me not being around and doing all these things. And she just has been awesome. And so I couldn't have done it without her. I got to thank my family, obviously. I've come from a rich tradition of basketball in the Miller family, and they've helped me every step of the way. Like I said in my announcement, all the coaches that have helped me get here and have helped me throughout my career, thank you guys for that. Fans, thank you for everything. Just grateful for the Spectrum Magic. That's one of the main reasons. Probably 70% of the reason why I came, honestly, is for the fans here. I loved it. When I grew up, I'm a local guy from Utah, so coming up and watching games, I mean, it was awesome. So I can't thank you guys enough, in the community, for being so kind and coming up to Bailey and I at restaurants and different places and saying hi, and for all your support. And to you guys, all the media, the administration at Utah State, athletic department, I mean, everybody really just had so much thanks and gratitude for such a fun career. It's been so fun, and excited to kind of be around still and still, be relevant here in the Valley, and to help in any way that I can, and enjoy people and help with, even if it's helping with recruiting, with the new business or whatever it is, I'm an Aggie for life. I love the Aggies.
Brock, we can't tell you how much we appreciate you and what you meant to Aggie Nation and your class and integrity and the way you've always dealt with adversity. Like I said, it's just been incredible to watch. And great basketball player on the court, better human off the court, no doubt. So thank you.
Yeah, thank you guys. Appreciate your guys' time today.
Absolutely.
Thanks, Brock.
Yep.